have done it the last year of my medical students because I can't use the reason for decide the future part of mine because that at that time I have to decide stay in Chiang Mai or go back in Bangkok and be a dermatologist and actor or do the specialized in Chiang Mai.
Welcome to SabaiChillBL,
where we sit down with Thai actors, actresses, and the creators of our favorite series.
Let's dive in to uncover the culture that brings them to life. Welcome to SabaiChillBL. Thank you so much again for taking the time to talk to me today. Before we start with all the questions that I have brought with me, could you please introduce yourselves and state a fun fact about the other?
Fun fact. Hello, my name is Jimmy. C's hobby is sleeping.
It is a fun fact.
Oh, fun fact. Hello, my name is C. His character is cute.
That is adorable. Okay, thank you so much. Now that you introduced yourselves, now it's time to introduce your series, My Magic Prophecy. So what you guys have to do is introduce the series in one sentence. However, there's a little twist to it. Each of you can only say one word at a time.
Believing.
Believing in
Hours.
my.
Okay, nice, sweet and short. Love that sentence. Thank you so much. Now it is my time actually to speak a little bit of Thai. So here at SabaiChillBL, we have a little tradition where we play a fun game. You have to guess who said the sentence and in which episode the sentence was said.
Okay.
Okay. If you're ready, I will say the first sentence in Thai. So bear with me. Yut yim dai re yang.
The second episode.
Second episode.
Tapfah. Tapfah is a Tapfah
Tapfah.
in the second.
Yeah, but it's not the second.
Really?
Huh?
And maybe third episode.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, very good. Okay, thank you so much for guessing the sentence. Now, the second sentence is a bit longer, so please bear with me. Okay, are you ready?
Okay.
ที่จริงคำชมมันควรเป็นหน้าที่คนอื่นไม่พี่
Oh, episode 4.
Who said the sentence?
In. Tapfah. In.
No,
Okay.
it's
จริง
Inthu.
คำชม
No, it's Inthu.
Oh, yeah. At the
ใช่ค่ะ
dinner table. Okay.
Yes,
I'm
exactly.
talking.
Yes.
In.
Yes. Okay. Whew. Thank you for understanding my Thai. That makes me very happy.
It's very good.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, now we've all warmed up a bit. Let's dive into your characters and into the story. So we were wondering, like we watched the behind the scenes and also the documentary episode. What was the most difficult part or aspect of your character to portray authentically? So this is like the big question, but I would start with C. Intu's character has lots of trauma, and we were wondering, beyond research and preparation, did you find any methods? It can be acting methods, for example, that helped you to become him in the most emotional scenes.
Maybe I read a lot of script like this Tamnai Thai Tap. I read all of it for like more than 8 times, all of it to make it get into my my body because it have a lot of มีความรู้สึกแบบเยอะมากๆในความรู้สึกความโดดเดี่ยวความแบบหลายๆอย่างที่เขาต้องเผชิญเรื่องครอบครัวด้วยครับผมก็จะมีการทำกันบ้านคือเหมือนเราจะเป็นเรียนรู้ก่อนนะครับเรียนรู้เกี่ยวกับไพ่ทาโร่ก่อนก็เป็นแบบแค่พื้นฐานของเขาว่าไพ่มันมีอะไรบ้างก็คือเรียนเป็นขั้นตอนของเขาแล้วหลังจากนั้นก็คือถ้าตัวละครคือก็จะมีคอยเรียนรู้จากความรู้สึกของตัวละครจากการอ่านนี่แหละครับแล้วก็ไปซึมซับจากพี่จ๋าโยชินีเขาก็จะเป็นคนที่คอยไกด์เราด้วยหรือบางความรู้สึกที่เราไม่เคยไปแตะเลย เราก็จะถามขอความคิดเห็นเขาแล้วก็เอามาทำกันบ้านกับตัวเราด้วยครับผม
Ah, wow. Reading the
Uh,
entire script 8 times, that's so
yeah.
much.
And the most like important thing is like we have to imagine the feeling of it that if we lost some people that you love a lot, how would it feel? That is
Mm,
like I have to imagine, I have to ask for the people for have the people that have an experience. So to like mix it together within
mm,
emotion and try to uh, express out from in the scene. I try to do
yeah.
that, but we have to understand the feeling of in like very much before we go to acting.
Yeah, it makes completely sense. Also, as you said, like maybe talking to people who have had this experience will make you understand how to act in this kind of situation. So it requires a lot of research, as you said.
And I think it's very hard to express like a feeling like the episode 5 that passed already. I think like it's hard to describe to the people who watching the series too. Like the feeling of
Yeah.
Inthu or Tapfah. I think it's very delicate thing for
Hmm.
to that the people that watching will get a key message from this. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But I can say from my perspective, you did a fantastic job. Like I had goosebumps and I was
Thank you.
crying. So yeah, very well done, really.
Because many fans are waiting for both of us, so we have to push it like to a
Yeah.
very high graph.
Yeah, you both did. You both did. Well, thank you so much. Well, now, Jimmy, talking a bit about you and your character,
Mhm.
you said in the documentary episode that it was super hard for you to kind of differentiate between Dr. Jimmy and Dr. Tapfah. So
Mhm.
we were wondering, how did you in the end separate those two characters, like from yourself and him?
Yeah, that's quite interesting question. I will answer in the bullet point. Okay. And the first one, I think in general general things, I think Dr. Tafa has more maturity than mine, because he maybe his occupation, he's a critical care doctor, so he have to his career is more stressed than mine, and maybe his family have to depend on him a lot. So that's why I think Tafa has more maturity than me as well. Yeah, and for the doctor part, I think he has the knowledge more in the critical care more than me. But I have in the skin issue, I think I have more than him.
Probably as a
Yeah,
dermatologist, you have more knowledge there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We have different specialized. Yeah, some skill in the series. I have to research, and I have to
Hmm.
ask my friends or my senior. For example, in the I can't remember episode 3 or 4 that I have to inject into the
Yeah.
heart. Yeah, that's
Mm.
I'm never did it before. That is thing that Dr. Hafai has different to me. Hmm.
I mean, we saw it in the BTS that there was like a doctor on set as well to help you with kind of like these procedures that you weren't as
Yes,
familiar with. So that's
yes,
pretty cool to also see like how detailed everything is. But talking
yeah.
about the medical terms and everything, everyone on set said that it was a huge help that you were there because you could help with these medical terms as well and like with the kind of you could say basics maybe. So we were wondering. How was that for you to play a role that is so close to your real profession? Was that kind of fun, or did you feel more pressure to it? Like, how would you explain the
I
experience?
I think I have both. There's fun and have a pressure
Yeah.
sometimes.
How
Yeah.
how would you explain the pressure, for example?
The pressure, I think I interview a lot in Thai in about my pressure, because Thai people want to see the real medical skill in the series
Mm,
or the movies. I think if they see that, oh, that's wrong, so they will not see the series after that.
mm.
So that is my pressure, and they will know that, oh, Jimmy is a doctor, and he's act wrong in the medical part. So why he did that? So that's my pressure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I completely understand it. Like my best friend, she was sitting next to me when I watched the episode, and when you had to put the tube into the throat of someone,
yes.
she was like looking at it like, is he doing it correctly? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not from the medicine part. So she was like, ah, yeah, looks good, looks good. I'm like, okay, thank God.
Yeah, and I have to tell that something that I did in the series, maybe for example, in the first scene, for we call ACLS, that's the life support. We have in our world, we have the same guideline for ACLS. Yeah, but I think in details, every hospital have the difference, the
Yeah.
little details in the ACLS protocol. Yeah, because we have the different settings. Yeah, I think that's why you guys maybe, oh, why he did that, why he did that. So yeah, that's why that's my pressure. So in the fun part, I think, yeah, for the pressure, it can turn into to my fun part as well. Yeah, because
That's good.
I want something to challenge me.
Right. You love a good challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the competitive people person. So something that pressure me, so that's make me have fun as well.
Yeah, okay. That's a perfect combination, I would say. Love that for you. Perfect. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Well, circling back to you, C, and Intu's character, you had to learn fortune telling and reading tarot cards. So we were wondering, do you still have those skills with you? Could you read the cards for me now, or have you
And
forgotten everything?
I know some of the cards are tarot card, but I know the basic, that which one that we have to read, and I know that there's a specific of the card that I have learned. Yeah, some of it, but
Yeah,
I can't like even I can't like read all of it, but I know
yeah.
some of it. But
That's good. It's
the
more than me.
important thing is like a skill for a terrorist, like psychology. I think this one is the one that always like to make terrorists more confident and how to like to do things.
So you mean like it's also important to have like the confidence when you lay out the cards and
Yeah.
you read them. Ah.
Yes.
Was that easy or hard for you to get in?
It's very hard because that career is very far from me, and I also like at the first that I know that I have to be a terrorist. I was like, oh wow, I have to make a research more and more because there's
Mm-hmm.
many like very a little bit tiny like information that I have to learn more to. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I quite get into it a lot.
But I also imagine it's quite fun. That's at least what I
Yeah, I really
imagine
like
being
it.
an actor to like delve into new topics that were maybe far away from me, but then I get to research all of it. I'm like, wow, such a new interesting world.
Yeah, that when I research, I have like some new information in my in my head, and I was like a little bit surprised for some information that I got, and I really like it. I really like it.
That's great. Well, talking about fortune telling, we are based in Germany, and fortune telling is a bit far away in our culture. Like it's not something that we usually do. So we were hoping that you could maybe share a bit, like from your perspective from Thailand, how
Ah.
people view fortune telling. So do they believe in it, or how is the perspective of a general Thai person about fortune telling?
I think this issue is depends on people. Yeah, I have to tell that the fortune telling is very famous in Thailand. Many people do it. Some believe, some not, I think. Yeah, and in for some beliefs just 50%, some believe 100, some believe the field. Yeah, I have to tell you that the fortune telling is very famous in Thailand. Some people who believe 100%, maybe they use this one for guide their life. For this too, it's not bad as well, but some people is good with it. Yeah, but and some people is bad with it. Yeah, because this issue we have to balance, or we have to have the conscious in this issue.
Would you say so too, C, for you, your personal opinion is similar?
I agree with some of P. Jimmy that he say, and in my if I put it in a percentage, I think for the fortune teller is some like about 40 and 40% that I believe, and after that I think about maybe 50% that I have to do it myself, like ลงมือทำ it depends on me. So and a 10% it's a thing that we can control. So
So
I
it's
think
all like destiny or in the
it's a
stars and the
destiny that
cards.
we can control, and I think in my opinion เหมือนเป็นการลงมือทำมากกว่าขึ้นอยู่กับที่ตัวเราว่าเราทำอะไร
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing this perspective, because like of course from like far away we can only see what we see like on the media, be it in your series or somewhere else. So it's always good to have someone like from Thailand talking about this to give us more of a
Because some of my friends also they didn't believe in some kind like this too, and I know, I really know it, because I have many friends that believe or they are not believing, and yeah, I understand them.
Have you ever done a reading for yourself? Like, did you ever go to get a reading, maybe also in preparation for the series?
Or read for myself?
Yeah.
No,
No,
I
no?
wouldn't do it, because there's some มันเป็นอะไรบางอย่างที่ไม่กล้าทำกลัวมันจะย้อนกลับมาเข้าเราอะครับ I don't know thing that I do, because I don't know what will return it back to me. I don't know, it's I very scared of it.
Yeah, I could imagine, like, from my perspective, I think, like, if I would go and get my cards read, which I'm thinking of doing actually at some point because I'm very interested, but I also think, like, if someone would read my cards, then I would be very, like, I would believe in it. I would be like, oh, no, this will happen because the person said so. But yeah, what about you, Jimmy? Did you go to a reading once in your life or in preparation for the series?
I have done it. I was 6th year of the last year of my medical students, because I can use the reason for decide the future part of mine, because that at that time I have to decide stay in Chiang Mai or go back in Bangkok and be a dermatologist and actor, or do the specialized in Chiang Mai, because both way have the good things as well. But this I don't know which way I gonna go. So I have no reason. I have so many reasons in the both way that I wanna do it. And my parents have no idea. They tell that it depends on you. What do you want?
Yeah.
Know that, right? And yeah, my friends, no idea. It depends on you as well. So I have and I don't know what I'm gonna count for. So that's why I decided to do the fortune telling.
But like, to be honest, when you talked about it, I was like, yeah, that is true. Like when you have like two things that you have to decide on, and both of them are very good opportunities, but you just can't make a decision, I'd rather give it to someone else, kinda. And I don't know if you have like the same feeling, but like it's kind of when you toss a coin. You feel it in your heart when it says something, you're like, nah, and then you know, okay, you want the other one.
But but toss the coin is too easy, right? I think it's too easy to decide. Just the coin to decide the way of your life in the future. I think it's easy. Yeah, that's why I think
would be interesting.
I think I have to. At that time I think I have to do something that is Yeah, the fortune telling is the, I think it's a good way to do in my life at that time, because I don't know, because toss a coin is too easy, right?
Yeah.
I will not make this coin to decide my future my future life.
Yeah, that's true. I just imagine if someone asked me like, how did you end up here? I'm like, I tossed a coin and it told me to go here. That would be very
Yeah.
intense. Well,
And
that's really cool.
for my opinion, fortune teller is one of the occupation in Thailand. Yeah. They have the skill, they learn, yeah, they have the knowledge. Yeah, that I really don't know it. It's like you sick and you gonna see some doctors, right? Because you don't know what
True.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like real knowledge someone has,
Yes.
which I don't have. So I go to them for help. Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. Well, talking a bit more about this series, we talked a lot about the trauma and emotional scenes and fortune telling. We saw already some behind the scenes of the last couple of episodes. We were wondering if you could share any memorable or maybe also fun moment from filming that we haven't seen yet in the BTS.
The funniest moment of mine, I think, is already passed in episode 4. The all the drunk part.
Oh, that was so good, Jimmy. I loved it so much.
No, I think this is the funniest part of Tapfah. Yeah.
I loved so much. I loved it.
Yeah, it's the one of the his aspect. When he's a doctor, he's very stressed and he's very tough. But when he's drunk, he's out of the world.
He is. I can imagine that it was, I mean, it looked like it was quite fun to film this, but also quite difficult because you had to remember, right, what you did before in the take before, when you had to do another take. That must have been crazy.
I don't care. I don't care when I did it. I don't care. I don't care that the second hit is have to same in the first take. I throw this I throw this part to the director.
Editors.
I don't care.
Nice. You're just like, my work here is done. You deal with it.
Yeah. We drunk. I'm drunk, right?
True.
Yeah.
Staying very true to the character. Love that. What about you, C? Do you have any memorable or funny moments that you can think of?
Maybe it's in episode 6, maybe. But it's in a behind the scene. Yeah, some
So
of it,
can you
but
spoil it a bit, or aren't we allowed to know?
I cannot.
Okay.
But,
Well, then we have to
I
wait for
think it's
episode
really,
6.
really funny. Really funny. And
Okay, we will keep our eyes open and look out for
Okay.
this scene. I was wondering, now that you filmed and wrapped up the series already a long time ago, what did you learn from your characters? Like, what did you take away from playing Into or playing Tapfah? Or is there something that you maybe learned as an actor that you take with you from the series?
For me, the most thing that I learned in this series is the don't think too much. I think it's not just a drunk part. It's all the part that, because I have to admit that I'm the one who is thinking more and more, because I'm
Like
I'm
an
the
overthinker.
yeah, I'm the person who is have the overthinking. That's not good for art. Yeah,
That
when
is true. Yeah, if you're to rationalize, or like if you
yes,
tend to rationalize a lot, it's hard to like just let it go.
yes, and I'm gonna and I found that if I don't think too much when I film, it will be good for me.
Oh,
It will be
that
good.
is so nice. I would take that with me because I'm an overthinker too. So maybe just like let go at some time would be nice as well.
Yeah, it not just the comedy part, I think it is in the in the drama part as well. If I don't think too much before getting into the scene, I will stay in that moment 100%. Yeah, and I will act that I'm not gonna prepare before. Yeah, and we call that is the magic moment. And it's for me it's very hard to do that because at that time we have to relax, we have to not take anything into your head because
That is
at that
difficult.
time I have so many things to do, right? When I was filming, I have the research, I have to prepare the concert, I have to prepare for studying abroad. So I have to
Yeah.
cut it all and don't think too much and just stay in that moment.
Well,
Yeah.
I have to applaud you, Jimmy, because like I think you like I watched you from the start of your career and you improved so much and your work in My Magic Prophecy really gives me goosebumps. You're doing such a great job. So you did really
Okay.
well with all the things that went on in your head. So thumbs up
Thank
for
you.
that. You're welcome. See,
Yeah.
what about you? What do you take away from Intu's character from filming My Magic Prophecy?
I think I have more เขาเรียกอะไรสติ have more conscious in my life, and I really I feel like a years ago I'm working a lot, I didn't have any time to spend time with my family, so yeah, I kind of find some time to be with my family, and I think yeah, if I don't have a family like it would be like very tough for me, very tough, and yeah, this also teach me a lot too. That I have to, I don't know, I want to stay with them for a long time, and want to take care of them. When we love someone, we don't want to lose someone. Like
Yeah.
it's a thing that I learned from them.
No, that is very beautiful to learn, like how to appreciate maybe also like the people that we have around that we maybe take for granted. So to
Yeah.
have that feeling like, yeah, I really am blessed that my family is here with me.
Yeah, and the important thing is like I usually bring back my, I don't know, my conscious that the important thing is the person in front of you is in the present is the most important people that you have to focus on. It's like
Yeah.
reminds me a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Now, before we end this interview with a fun little segment, do you have a message maybe for European fans that you would like to share?
Thank you for supporting both of us from the last CD until this series, My Magic Prophecy. And I really like many Europe fan that always come and support because I see on Twitter like many and some in TikTok too. Thank you for keep following me, still keep following me from like the last series, and we both will how do I say produce a new series like in the future, have a good quality for people that watching, because we also respect the people that watching our series too, so every effort we put on a lot, and I hope next time you like more and more, and thank you, and I love you all European fan, and want to go and see you in there too.
We would love that. Jimmy, what about you? Do you have some words to share?
Okay, so at first one, I wanna thank you guys to you all for every support, not just our series and for our works, maybe concert or and for the My Magic Prophecy, I think the culture of the series is too way far from you guys, right? Because you guys don't have the fortune tellers, you guys don't have the you guys don't have the culture part of maybe the northern part of Thailand. It's I think it's the good way to represent of some aspect of Thai,
Mhm.
more Thai. But that's you guys gonna love it if you see the series. I think this series is good for you guys to understand Thai more than
I
and
absolutely agree. Thank you so
yeah.
much. Yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying this series. Now, before I let you go, you've both been to Germany before. You've been to my hometown, actually, Berlin, and I went to the fan meeting to see you guys. I had a blast. It was really fun. So thank you so much for coming to see us in Berlin. I was wondering, I know you've picked up some German already, but is there anything you would like to learn how to say it in German? Because I'm very happy to translate it. Or if you would like to know a Berlin fun fact that you maybe haven't heard yet.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Okay, fun fact. Okay, so it's a bit of a history nerd fact that I have to share. So I don't know if you've been there, Jimmy. I don't think that you had time to go there. See, maybe you have seen it, but it's like this big building next to the Brandenburger Tor or Brandenburg Gate, like the one with the horses on top, right? Next to it, there's like a huge building with like a glass ceiling. It's called the Reichstagsgebäude, which is where our government and parliament sits. So the fun fact about this building is actually that back in when the Second World War ended, everything was destroyed and it was super hard to find food, and there was no space really to grow crops. So the space in front of the building actually was used to grow potatoes. So every time I stand in front of this government building where our government is sitting and doing laws, I have to think about here, potatoes were grown. So that's like a fun little fact that I always have to think about because I don't know, in Germany, potatoes are like the thing. We eat lots of potatoes, even though they aren't even from Germany. And that's like a place where lots of potatoes were grown. So yeah, that's my little fun fact
Yeah,
about Berlin.
I miss the rice in time when I stay in your country very much.
I know we don't have so much rice and it's not the same
Yeah,
quality of rice.
it's very hard to find, especially when
like-
when I study in Switzerland. I have no rice. I have to bring the rice in time from my country into yours, and I
I
cook
mean, like to be
myself.
fair, in Berlin, it's easier to find rice because we have Asian supermarkets where you can buy like big sacks of rice. They're all imported from Thailand and well, yeah. But yeah, we do have rice in our country, but not so much.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for listening to my
Thank
Berlin
you.
fun fact.
Thank you
And
for
thank you so much
staying.
for taking the time to talk to me. And I hope you have a nice day. And yeah, see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you ขอบคุณนะครับ
ขอบคุณครับ
ขอบคุณมากค่ะขอบคุณมากค่ะ Thoughts and feelings, leave them down below.
Like, share, and subscribe for even more fun in the future.